Well, I wanted to say this. I'm probably going to date myself a lot here. But back in the day, there were very, very few liberals on social media. People who were actually liberal. It was a scant few individuals. There was the Daily Kos, which has always been liberal and has remained liberal and progressive. There was Jon Stewart. This was before Stephen Colbert. You youngins, you Gen Z, you're lucky. There was Jon Stewart. There was Sarah Silverman. There was Margaret Cho. There was The Daily Show with Jon Stewart. And that was it. Everything else was corporate and conservative. Now, on YouTube, there was a guy by the name of Tim Pool, who was a liberal. Yes, there was a time when Tim Pool was actually a liberal. You know, I heard recently that Tim Pool said that he hates the woke agenda. Now, I don't know who's still using the word woke in 2022 besides a white supremacist. But Tim Pool apparently is using the word woke. And he's airing out his grievances about the woke agenda. You notice they won't tell you what exactly the woke agenda is. They just use it as a catch-all phrase. I know what it is. They know what it is. But they don't want you to know what it is. Anyway, yeah, you are going to ask them, what does it mean to be woke? Can you define woke? Because wouldn't you rather be woke than asleep? I don't know. Some people enjoy sleep. I enjoy sleep. But they act like being woke is a crime. Really funny individual I watch online from time to time. She says she's woke as fuck. She gives pretty spot on commentary, I would say. Anyway, back to Tim Pool. Now, Tim Pool had to sort of kind of do a transition. No, I don't mean that he transitioned physically. I mean mentally. He had to do a little transition from being liberal to being a white supremacist. And this transition kind of was really ugly and rocky, to say the least. It started in 2020, actually. So it's been some time now. I'd give it in a minute. I used to watch Tim Pool from time to time. I would check him out. I don't have time for that type of shit anymore. I don't even watch. But I wanted to say or speak on the transition because I thought it was important to tell people who might still pay Tim Pool some mind to tell you to stop doing so. And I'm going to give you the reason why I stopped doing so. And then maybe it will make sense to you. So the transition from liberal to white supremacist looked like this in 2020. We all know Donald Trump was up for re-election, right? Now, if you're a real liberal, you hated Donald Trump's guts, as Tim Pool did for most of Donald Trump's presidency, up until 2020. That's when Tim Pool did a whole 360 and said, I'm considering voting for Donald Trump because of one issue and one issue alone. He wants to get the troops out of Afghanistan. And you know, as a liberal, we were opposed to the invasion of Afghanistan in the first place. So having been there for 20 years and to have a conservative president like the lunatic from Mar-a-Lago, to have him say that he was going to pull the troops out of Afghanistan, that was the one thing I agreed with him on as well. Now, I certainly wasn't going to vote for the lunatic from Mar-a-Lago because he was pledging to pull the troops out of Afghanistan. No, there were so many other things. This is after COVID now. Remember, this is while COVID is going on and raging. Tim Pool is ignoring all of the mishandling of COVID. And he's saying, I'm going to vote for Donald Trump because he's pledging to pull the troops out of Afghanistan if he's reelected. Because he didn't do it in his first 4 years. He talked about it, but he didn't do it. And you know what they say? Actions speak louder than words. Because there's talk and then there's doing. And he could have pulled the troops out in 4 years. Oh, yes. So, we all know, long story short, Donald Trump doesn't get reelected. He loses. Joe Biden becomes president. He pulls the troops out of Afghanistan. The one issue Tim Pool said he would support, the rationale he gave for supporting Donald Trump's re-election was he wanted to pull the troops out of Afghanistan. President Biden pulls the troops out of Afghanistan. Do you think Tim Pool is grateful? Oh no. Now he starts talking about how sloppy the withdrawal effort went. Wait a minute. You didn't ever preference the withdrawal of the troops in Afghanistan on whether we would lose lives or not. Your sole issue was withdrawing the troops from Afghanistan. I listen. Believe you me, I listen to what people say. Because sometimes you have to remind people who are snakes of their snakish ways. Now, if you had said Donald Trump should pull the troops out of Afghanistan unless troops die and then we have to stay in. If you had have given that caveat, then I might have more respect for Tim Pool. But now to play Monday morning quarterback and say Joe Biden is a lousy president because of what happened in Afghanistan. You know that's the definition of what a snake does. A snake will come and tell you to do something. You do it. And then they'll tell you you shouldn't have done it. This is literally what Tim Pool did. I'm like, how are you not going to support Joe Biden withdrawing the troops? And you know what his counter will be to this. Well, 13 service members lost their life. And you know what my counter would be to that? How many service members lost their life being bogged down in a quagmire for 20 years? Thousands, right? How many were wounded being bogged down in a quagmire for 20 years? Thousands, right? How much equipment was damaged or destroyed in being bogged down in a quagmire for 20 years? Thousands, right? So whenever you make a decision, you do a cost analysis. You say, if we stay for another year, we might lose X amount of soldiers. We might lose X amount of equipment. We might spend X amount of money. As opposed to if we go now. You see what I'm saying? So this doesn't even make a logical sense. But then there's more. Because you had the lunatic from Mar-a-Lago criticize the withdrawal too. So a journalist asked the lunatic from Mar-a-Lago, what would you have done differently than the current administration did to withdraw troops out of Afghanistan? And shockingly, the lunatic from Mar-a-Lago could not articulate anything different than what the current President Joe Biden did to withdraw troops out of Afghanistan. Shocking. Now it's shocking to you, but it's not shocking to me. You say, why is that not shocking to you? Because I use my brain, and you don't. Do you really think that the United States military would draw up separate plans of withdrawal and give one plan to one president and a separate plan to the next president? No. They're going to have one withdrawal plan that they give to the commander-in-chief. And they're going to tell the president, this is the plan. This is the cost analysis we've done. Do you still want to go through with this? Yes or no? We're ready to go either way. This is the big leagues. Welcome to the big leagues. I don't know what league you all are in. You're not even in the little leagues. So I didn't need to have a journalist even ask this lunatic that question. And I already knew he wasn't going to articulate any difference. Because there would have been no difference. Only someone who wants to play Monday morning quarterback would think that there would be a difference. Or a different outcome would have occurred. That's ludicrous. It's nonsense. So when Tim Pool does that kind of bullshit to transition himself over to becoming a white nationalist, I'm like, look at this slimy little snake. You got all of your following being a liberal on YouTube, which it was very rare. There was the Young Turks, and then it was Tim Pool. And then he transitioned over to what he really was, a white nationalist. And now he can't come off Tucker Carlson's little titties. He can't come off of Bill O'Reilly's little titties. It's pathetic. And the excuse and the rationale is so illogical. I'm like, Tim, just say you're a white nationalist. It's easier that way. Just admit it. Just admit that you don't like women having their rights. Just admit that you're misogynist. You know, I think it would do a lot better for them if they just came to terms with what they are. Because they fight it so much. And to the rest of us, it's so obvious what and who they truly are. So I thought I'd tell you this. So now you know that I give 0 fucks or 0 views to Tim Pool. I will never turn that shit on ever again. I was done. Because I, unlike Tim Pool, was very principled. I didn't care who got us out of Afghanistan. I really did. I said if the lunatic from Mar-a-Lago can get us out, yay, we should have never gone in. And we should have definitely been out before 20 years. I mean, even the former president before the lunatic, Barack Obama, wanted to withdraw from Afghanistan. So it hasn't been like that was a brand new thing that the lunatic wanted to do. No, Barack Obama actually wanted to do it. And he started a drawdown in Afghanistan. These are facts. Look it up. I was just so done. Because things like war shouldn't be politicized. Either you're for it or you're against it. And I never understood how the people who say that they're pro-life, because they don't believe in murdering children, have no problem sending children. We all know that a fully developed brain doesn't occur until the age of 27, according to all the modern research. I never understood how people support sending children over to foreign lands to murder other children and to be murdered, but then claim to be pro-life. If you're pro-life, you should always be anti-war. I'm just saying. If you're being consistent, which they never are. And so now you have my thoughts about that snake. And let me tell you something about a snake. Once you know a snake is a snake, don't get mad if you decide to go back to the snake and it bites you. Because you knew it was a snake. And that's what snakes do.